What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Suspicion Season 1, Episode 5, What Does a Kidnapper Look Like? This episode is directed by Stefan Schwartz. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome. Hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button as well as commenting below on any video to watch, including this one. Okay, so here we are. We're pretty much past the halfway point of this series, at least in the first season. I don't know if there's going to be a second season. I don't know if this is a limited series. Not entirely sure at the moment, but we have gotten to the point where the 5 individuals that are being accused of Leo's kidnapping have now grouped together. They end up in that house that we see in the trailer, and some revelations start to happen. This is an episode where kind of the fallout after the incident on the in the airfield with Monique dying, and kind of everything that has come to a head. Why is Sean and doing what he's doing? Why are these other characters? Are they hiding stuff? It all kind of comes to a head for the most part in this episode. I really like this episode. It did bog down a little bit in the middle when, not much happens. There's this character named David or something like that. He has a dog. He's a neighbor. He's just there to be a foil for these individuals. So I really didn't really care for his character too much, but you need to have these types of characters to progress the character story forward. So basically, Eddie was shot. He is having trouble, with his side because it's bleeding, and they are driving down the road and they end up at this house. Now, this house belongs to a guy named Sammy, who was the guy who tried to murder Sean. As we know, Sean shot Natalie in the chest. It was we find out that he was basically a courier pickup, but he was in essence still making money off Natalie. It's a kind of a scheme to keep himself moving, but he worked for a company that is kind of affected by everyone involved in this kind of group of individuals. Sean, as we know, is a trained killer. He was in the military. He knows how to fix up Eddie and put whatever that stuff is that he put on his wound. And in essence, this is an episode where they basically sit around a campfire and reveal a little bit more about what they're lying about, to the individuals that is the FBI and the British intelligence. Now, it's not really like we're going to talk about each person to person, but in essence, what is revealed here is they're not telling the whole truth to the British intelligence and the FBI. They held some stuff back, and you understand why they did what they did. It is a little kind of leaps of logic a little bit when you think about what they were doing, which seems to coalesce into one big kind of conspiracy that's going on. There seems to be a bigger conspiracy going on with Cooper Newton. We see the CEO talking to press and stuff like that, and there's something bigger going on here that is not been revealed yet that involves these people in some form or fashion. It's looking more and more like they weren't the actual kidnappers, but there could be reveals at the end of the season that could reveal that they were the kidnappers, but they didn't realize, that they were, as they said earlier in the season, that they didn't know what they were doing or whatever. And basically, Natalie has the biggest punch, but Tara has the biggest kind of motivational factor in this episode outside of Sean. Natalie's still dealing with the after effects of her sister dying. Monique, I guess she's officially dead. I didn't like the blood work that they did on Monique. I thought it was a little fake, so I kind of questioned whether she was actually dead or not. I mean, if you go back and actually look at her face, the blood looks really fake, to be fairly honest, but maybe it was just a thing that they felt would enhance the fact that she died. I don't know. I just felt it was really weird, but in essence, she is having trouble dealing with that as she would. She is an individual that, tries to commit suicide, but, by putting a gun to her head, but she forgot to turn the safety off, which is kind of interesting because I really don't think people are that stupid. Maybe people are that have never handled guns before, but as we learn, did she really do that on purpose? Did she forget the safety on purpose? Probably not. I think she's a woman that knows how to handle a gun. I think, because she worked in offshore, conspiracies and stuff like that, where she was stealing money and sending it offshore. Like I said, like she says in the episode, she was basically taking the last bits of the money before it got frozen by the British intelligence and sending it offshore. So I'm assuming she knows how to use a gun. I think it would be kind of stupid for her to be able to do this and not know how to use a gun. Maybe I'm just thinking outside the box here. I don't know. But yeah, she tries to commit commit suicide. It doesn't go very well. Sean, look, he knows, because he's in the military, he worked at like some kind of intelligence apparently. He knows that where people hide stuff, and he goes into a room and he's looking underneath underneath the desk and stuff like that, and he finds an alcove where it holds a computer, it holds cell phones, it holds passports, money, and it basically leads to Adesh, in essence, trying to get a hold of Vanessa to kind of see if she'll work with them to get, to kind of fix the situation, because now they're fugitives because of the whole incident at the airport. Now they're on the news. Now, they're being looked after and stuff like that. And Adesh tries to sneak out with a phone he finds in the same room that Sean found his stuff in. And of course, he sneaks out and he's trying, he's telling Sean, oh, there's something over there, but it's really like a phantom. And he tries to make a call. Sean knocks it out of him, knocks the wind out of him, because Sean's not an idiot. He knows that Adesh is doing something really, really stupid. But like I said, there's that character David in the episode, the neighbor with the dog, and I was like, I guess, whatever. But David calls the police later on in the episode. So with that said, we learned that Natalie was doing the offshore stuff, which we learned about in I think the episode prior. So her stuff that she's revealing is nothing kind of special. Sean already kind of knows what's going on. It leads to Adesh. Let's just talk about Adesh's revelation that he was in New York to get a job, as we've learned throughout the entire season of so far. Well, of course, there's always going to be a bigger thing, a bigger situation that we'll learn that is not entirely truthful what he was saying. Yes, he was in New York. Yes, he was trying to get a job, but he was blackmailing the CEO and the company for a job. And the reason how he did that is he hacked the company, hacked the servers, and because Sean's like, how do you know all this? How do you know how to do this? Everybody's questioning how he knows all this. Well, he's a hacker. He's a guy who is very good at what he does when it comes to computer tech. And he did that, and he was trying to blackmail his way into a job, and he found and read emails about, before it got released, that Catherine Newton was going to be part of the ambassadorship for America and the UK. He read stuff about Leo and, because Tara reveals that Leo was going to be given some of the company, and basically reveals that Adesh is just very good at what he does. Now, whether he knows how to kidnap people, I don't know, but he was desperate for a job to get away from his wife's family and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much what it leads to Adesh. He and Eddie have conversations about trying to leave, and Eddie's like, I don't know if we should do that. It basically boils down to Eddie doesn't really have any information to give because he doesn't know anything, as we think. But Adesh's character is like, oh yeah, I was a hacker. But it leads to Tara. Basically, she is kind of the thrust that is not Sean of this episode, where David sees these people in this house, or he sees somebody in the house of the Sammy character. He goes over, and Tara concocts a story that she is the niece or something. I don't know if it's a niece or friend or, but then of course Sean comes down. They both look like they've been, sleeping or whatever. They've been doing whatever they're doing. He's in his underwear. She's in his shirt and stuff like that, and they kind of fool this David character for a little while to believing that this is a truthful thing. So basically what it leads to, all this is leading to a roundtable discussion that Sean has with the group, trying to figure out what's going on. Why is Sean involved with this kind of stuff? And like I said, it's leading to some kind of conspiracy going on inside the company from what I'm gathering. I'm pretty sure this is where it's headed. The CEO or Catherine Newton knows something. They're trying to play a certain way of doing things. And it's going to be an interesting kind of, we'll see how kind of logically turns as the series starts to conclude in the next few episodes. Because like I said, I think we only have 3 more episodes left. So, but Tara is very much, she wants to get back to her daughter. She's very much, trying everything in her power to save her daughter from, having to go through all this heartbreak and heartache and stuff like that. But she reveals that, she went to a conference. She hates the Newton family for what they were doing, and what she ended up doing, that she reveals more that she didn't reveal to Vanessa. She was an individual that kind of kept her kind of angerness to the Newton family by basically hiding herself in the network and being several different other people and spreading lies and spreading, propaganda about Leo and his why is he able to go to Oxford. And it basically turns out that her daughter ended up getting kidnapped, so she had to stop doing that. But what's really interesting is Sean knows exactly how this exchange went, and the reason for that is very traditional by the book kidnapping exchanges. So there's something that happened there where Sean kind of knew where this was going to lead. And at first Tara was kind of like really confused by like, how did you know that? But it leads into because he's done it before himself. He's done that kind of stuff. He's kidnapped someone for a ransom or a particular situation. And yeah, it's really interesting to see how that plays out. It's kind of everybody has something that they're hiding behind. So this pretty much, it's not very much to this episode. It's about trying to get past what happened in the last episode to try and move forward. Basically, Natalie offers Sean $100,000 to go with him to America. They all kind of, in the end, go to America because not only did David kind of, call the cops, but, they decide that this is the best way. Sean needs him in some form or fashion. Sean's like, I'm going to go deal with Copeland the best way, the way I know how to do it, which is not probably the easiest way for this individual that he's going to approach at Copeland to, live, I guess you could say. There's going to be some really traumatic events going on. But there's a moment where Tara just kind of questions why was Eddie what university was Eddie at, part of Oxford, like what campus. Kind of gives her information, and it kind of leaves off with that. But they have to make a getaway pretty quickly because now they're unfortunately under the microscope of the police kind of, coming in a few minutes to find out what's happening. And so we get to the very end of the episode, and it leads to this kind of interesting revelation where we have Eddie, and Eddie's been kind of a wild card in a lot of aspects, in the simple fact that you really don't know. They say he knew Leo a little bit, but he's an individual that, why is he involved? What is his exact situational awareness of this whole situation? And as the car's pulling away to the very end of the episode, we see him see him text on a cell phone that says, I have all 4 people. And he sends it and he puts it back in his shoe. It makes you kind of wonder, what is Eddie's involvement? Is he actually one of the kidnappers? There's obviously something more to him than he was willing to say. But it's just I don't know, where does his character go? What is he going to affect when it comes to when they get to New York? How is this all going to play out? And it's a really interesting thing to think about, because it's a character that was revealed. There's a character that was introduced very late into the series, last episode actually, and now he may have some real interesting involvement with the kidnapping of Leo. And I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. Now that they're going to New York and going to go back to the hotel, how's that all going to play out? The fact that we don't see Vanessa or Scott in this episode is really interesting, because they are probably dealing with the after effects of the whole botched mission on the airfield. And for the most part, it was a pretty good episode. Has a lot of questions still remaining, but gives us a lot of interesting kind of push through on the simple fact that these characters were hiding stuff, but we're not hiding to the point where maybe they weren't the kidnappers, because the whole idea of how Tara knows how to use a gun was because of her father. Maybe she's lying there, maybe Natalie's lying there, who exactly knows. But there's the chess pieces and stuff like that are on a point where it's getting close to us getting the checkmate, but the other side still has the advantage. So it's slowly revealing, it's slowly getting to that point, and they still have 3 episodes to kind of get to that point. So for the time being, I do think it's a good episode. I will give it a 9 out of 10, because I think it really is effective. It's really calm and collective. It allows for a sigh of relief while giving us some new information, and it's going to be interesting to see how the story plays out in the long run. Whether it's one of these people, it's another, because if it's more of a mystery person that we haven't seen yet, how is the story going to play out? I have some theories, which I think it's going to go in a couple ways, but like I said, we'll see when that comes time. If I was correct or not in that situation. So anyways, that'll do it. That'll be my take on the 5th episode of season 1 of Suspicion, which is called What Does a Kidnapper Look Like? Overall, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the episode? Do you think it was a good episode? Are you Still excited for this series. What was your feeling on the kind of the revelations that happened in the episode? But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell. Top the phones coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit the like button, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.